Okay, so the book that this activity goes with is Growing Vegetable Soup by Lois Ellert. And in this book, it just talks about the different stages you have to go through to make vegetable soup. And so it goes through growing the vegetables, like what you need to grow the vegetables, the process of growing the vegetables. And this is cool because it actually has the seeds labeled in here, and so that's really cool. You can talk to your kids about that. Talks about them being sprouts and watering them, and again they have all of them labeled, and so you can see that, which is very cool because the kids will ask you what each plant is, and so it's nice to be able to tell them that you do know. Then it goes into them growing into plants, and then you picking them, watching over them, and then talks about the difference between picking vegetables and digging them out of the ground like carrots or potatoes. And then talks about washing the plants, and then what it takes to make the soup. So then you put them all in the water, and you cook them into vegetable soup. And then they eat the soup. And then they can grow it again next year. And in the back, it has a little recipe for vegetable soup. And so the activity for this one is a very controversial topic. Is the tomato a fruit or a vegetable? And it goes through a lot of different things that the kids have to tell you whether or not it's a fruit or vegetable. And so this is a good one for science and also math, because they're categorizing and sorting. And so if you have a whiteboard, then you can write fruit or vegetable at the top and put them into categories. And then as you go through, you can write down which ones were fruit or vegetables and whether or not the kids were right in their guesses. And so you have a lot of cards here, and you just pick it up and ask the kids, do you think this is a fruit or a vegetable? If you think it's a fruit, raise your hand. If you think it's a vegetable, raise your hand. And then you reveal. And it says on the back here, you can see, it says fruit on the back. And so you can, every single one has the answer on the back. And so you know, but the kids don't. And so you can tell them whether or not the majority of them were correct. And so you just go through peas and cabbage. And then there are some in there that are tricky, like trick questions actually, like a mushroom. And you raise their hands, is it a fruit or a vegetable? And then on this one, you need to give them the option of neither, because a mushroom is not a fruit or a vegetable. It is a fungus. And then, oh, this one's interesting too, because it's a cucumber, and cucumbers are fruits. But that's when you also remind the children that pickles are cucumbers. They're made out of cucumbers. And so if a cucumber is a fruit, that means a pickle is also a fruit. And they all think that's kind of gross to think about, because it's weird to think that fruits aren't sweet and tangy. So that's really interesting. Eggplants are fruits, and you can discuss with the kiddos. Oh, tomatoes are fruits too. And you can discuss with the kiddos. What makes something a fruit or a vegetable? And scientifically, the rule is that if it has seeds in it, then it is a fruit. And that is the scientific reasoning behind tomatoes being a fruit versus a vegetable. Whereas vegetables typically are their own seeds. And so watermelon is a fruit. Corn is a vegetable because its seeds are what we eat. Whereas watermelons, its seeds aren't its actual product, and typically we don't eat those. Pumpkins are a fruit because they have seeds. And potatoes are a vegetable because potatoes are their own seeds. Potatoes produce sprouts off of themselves, and that's how they reproduce. And so that's all about how they reproduce. And so that's something you can discuss with the kiddos. You can tell them about what makes something a fruit or vegetable, and you can do some of your own research if you want to go more in depth, and that is definitely your own choice. But it's a fun activity. Some of the things will surprise you in it, so maybe look in it beforehand so that way you're not taken aback by the fruit or vegetable laws like some of the kids are.